Yo, what's going on YouTube? Good morning, good morning. I am on my day off, so I'm going to be providing you guys some videos somewhat early. GZTV, we are here to talk about Dexter. Season 6, Episode 3 is the episode I watched last night. And actually today, we are going to be finishing off the series Beef. So that's going to be really exciting. We can go back to kind of watching Dexter and Walking Dead more consistently. So yeah, let's get into the summary of this episode. I'm not going to talk too much about it. We have some 2K videos to be made. I'm going to do a Carmelo Anthony kind of retirement tribute gameplay video. And then we're going to do the equal chance pack. Whoever I get out of that, that'll be a video as well. So yeah. So as Dexter prepares breakfast, Harrison plays with the toy horse. And Deborah's getting ready to start her day as her first day as lieutenant. And a lot of new changes here. Nathan Roberts, the jogger that Travis Marshall abducted, is chained to the floor of Santa Maria de Loreto, a church, and he needs to repent his sins to God, ask for forgiveness, be sincere about it, and all that stuff. They're very religious driven. We're starting to learn that. All their meetings kind of happen in a church, that sort of thing. Dexter arrives at a crime scene of a homicide, 10 minutes from his apartment. And they find a prostitute who is strangled and beaten and has a chipped tooth. So we have we have another killer on the rise, which is really interesting. Another serial killer on the scene, in the season, which is cool. Really cool that the show did this. Two different antagonists at the same time, but obviously this antagonist was short term and got handled this episode. I think it would have been cool to see a couple different conflicts happening at once and Dexter chasing two different people, two different groups, I should say. Sorry. Deborah looks through files to find a replacement for herself as detective. LaGuerta's trying to give her some options, and she's looking at resumes. Yeah, so Deborah obviously has the job of picking out her force, and she's going to do that, so yeah. Dexter looks through an old scrapbook that he kept when he first started tracking serial killers. He admired the Tooth Fairy killer, and that's who pulled this girl's tooth. And obviously Dexter's a little old, so this guy must be old as well. This guy's probably about Dexter's age when he was doing this, and man, it's really interesting. It's going to be an interesting full circle moment. He started a scrapbook mainly because of this guy. Yeah. Interesting. Dexter stops by the Coral Island retirement village since it is located near the crime scene. And he's going to try to find the Tooth Fairy killer. A guy he admired since he was a child. And I think that's a really interesting thing. This guy's now in Miami. Wow, what an interesting moment, And Walter Kinney is the main suspect because obviously he's been living there for some years now. Vince Masuka, who's attracted to his intern Ryan Chambers, shows her evidence from the ice truck killer case, and she was following it super closely before she became an intern. And so she was really interested in this stuff, and it was kind of a cool moment. She likes the prosthetic hand or whatever. During Deborah's first briefing, it's disclosed that the dead prostitute Rosalia Davalos had trace amounts of cocaine in her system. So she was out, she was high, she was disoriented, and she got killed and strangled and her teeth pulled. And that's how the Tooth Fairy killer kind of carried out his actions. That was kind of his MO. Meanwhile, Nathan apologizes to God, and Travis seems satisfied. The snake killers, if that's what you want to call them. Yeah. So, he's getting let off the hook for now. They're kind of giving him a break from all the torture. Because he's, apologizing, crying to him and stuff. Yeah. Dexter introduces himself to Kenny, and together they play golf. He's trying to, kind of bond with this guy, kind of get close to him, gives him an excuse, hey, my father's looking into this home, even though his father's dead, Brother Sam invites Dexter to a company party at a Biscayne Bay beach on Sunday, explaining that it's a baptism for Nick, and Brother Sam and Dexter are getting really close. And now that Dexter knows that this isn't really a bad guy, I mean, he still has his suspicions, but he kind of understands for now that this is a good-hearted dude. Like, he just wants to help other people. Obviously, he murdered before, but he's like a changed man, so he decides to show up. Deborah's freaking out about having too much on her plate. You know, Dexter tries to calm her down. Her first day as lieutenant is not going well, and you kind of expect this because that's a very stressful job. You're pretty much managing an entire police force. Like, it's not going to go well, really, in the first couple months. When Dexter researches Kenny, he finds that his mother was arrested for child abuse, so that kind of helps him, like, dive into the history and, like, the motives of the Tooth Fairy killer. So, yeah, he kind of does a little case study on this guy. Dexter shows up at Kenny's room at 9 o'clock a.m. to pick him up, but he answers the door in his underwear. He's getting really comfortable with Dexter already, I guess. And, yeah, Dexter's doing him some favors. He wants to help him out. He wants to learn more about this place. You know, that's why Kenny's, like, open to this, right? Oh. Kenny complains about a lot of stuff. He has anger issues. He's kind of like a dickhead, too. Like, I mean, you guys watch the show, obviously. That's why you're here for the review. This is a spoiler review. I don't know if I have to keep putting disclaimers in my videos because as more people are watching this, they're going to understand. You know? In front of Deborah, Quinn tries to hit on Ryan, but she shoots him down. Like, he wants to make her feel jealous. He wants to kind of rub shit in and put a lot on her plate, and it doesn't really work out. So, yeah. Nathan briefly escapes and is startled when he runs into a living horse inside the church. Nathan's the jogger, obviously. We're going back to, like, the snake killer's lair, whatnot. Yeah. Dexter waits until Kenny boards a bus for home and breaks into his storage unit. And Kenny, when he finds the teeth, you know, this is the Tooth Fairy killer. He needs to find a justification for killing people. I mean, that's what Dexter always does. So he does that. He leaves. Kenny calls him. He's stranded, doesn't know where he is. Dexter picks him up, and he, like, pulls a gun on him because he knows what Dexter's doing. He's with Homicide, and he's spying on him. He knows that. So, yeah. Dexter crashes his car like an absolute madman. And, yeah, Masuka asks Ryan on a date, and to his surprise, she accepts. So while that's going on, Masuka has a date with his intern. Which is kind of weird, because isn't she a college student? I don't know, man. She just got out of college. So Deborah informs LaGuerta that she's going with her gut and is choosing Mike Anderson to replace her as detective. And LaGuerta's, like, kind of bitter about this, even though, like, LaGuerta's kind of a bitch. Like over the seasons, like, I have not been a huge fan of her character. Oh, man. She does get kind of annoying sometimes. So, yeah. When Mike Anderson reports to the station, he initially is dismissive of Deborah when she greets him. The same would have happened to LaGuerta because he's used to having a man as a lieutenant, and he kind of, like, degrades her, kind of is sexist towards her. It's kind of fucked up, but, like, she gets in his face and she lets him know about it. She takes charge, and this really shows that Deborah's going to be a good lieutenant. Dexter secures Kenny in his recliner inside Kenny's room. Blah, blah, blah. You guys know how it goes. He kills the killer, and he kills the Tooth Fairy killer, Walter Kenny, yes. And throws his teeth trophies in the ocean, disposes of it. You know that. Still in love with Deborah, Quinn engages in disinterested sex with another woman. Like, he realizes, like, he really wants Deborah back. And he's, like, he's, like, having sex with this girl, and he's just, like, so nonchalant about it. And 4 horses are seen trotting down a busy street. This is kind of like the end of the episode, and each rider has been created from a combination of Nathan's body parts and a mannequin. And it's like, yeah, it's It's really fucked up. It's like a fucking parade of a mannequin and a dead body on it. It's so fucked up. So the snake killers are trying to like send a message. I wonder what the fallout's going to be in the next episode. I know this wasn't a super in-depth review, but if it was, it would take 20 minutes. So the snake killers are making their presence known. That's good, you know. Deborah as lieutenant, although it's a pretty stressful job. I mean, I think she's like handling it somewhat well for her first couple of days. So we'll see how that storyline plans out. Obviously, the storyline closed in a single episode with the Tooth Fairy killer. What else? Ryan and Masuka. You have Quinn maybe trying to win Deborah back over, make her jealous. His love life is kind of in the background. So yeah, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'm getting ready to do a gameplay video on the new Carmelo Anthony Evo. So yeah, you guys don't want to miss that. Then I'm going to win 6 straight clutch time games, and we're going to do the equal chance pack, do a gameplay with whoever that player is, and we should have content for you guys